Hey everybody, Supremisis here, and in today's video, I'm going to be helping you guys, the viewer, improve at Rainbow Six Siege. Before I move any further ahead, I would like to show you guys what type of player I am, so you guys know that I am completely legit and I'm not some type of rant trying to make a video about how to get better at Rainbow Six Siege, showing you guys that I actually do have the knowledge to be, a decent player, and so that I can pass my tips on to anyone else watching this video, looking to improve aspects of their game as well. Just really quickly before I move any further ahead, just so you guys know that the tips in this video are actually my personal opinion, so if I did miss something, otherwise if you guys did find something that is odd or strange that I'm giving you guys a tip about, you guys definitely do not need to follow the tips in this video or anything else like that. You guys can definitely ignore basically everything I say if you guys don't agree with anything I say. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on with the video. So the timestamps and everything else will be on screen right now of the categories and basically what is in those categories for you guys to skip to that time period if you guys have something specifically you want to get out of this video. And I would just like to also say, if you guys do want to see a part 2 of me trying to figure out more fundamentals of Siege and stuff like that, then please like the video. That would be greatly appreciated either way. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on. The first tip I have for you guys for the fundamentals of Siege is going to be movement. Now, movement is a very overlooked aspect in my personal opinion because it really does change the outcome of whether you die or whether you don't die in a video game. To give an example of this is Call of Duty. Call of Duty can basically run around the entire map without having little to no repercussions of where you peek, whether you camp in a corner and stuff like that. You basically can run around the entire map, heal yourself up, and keep going. With Rainbow Six Siege, that is very different because knowing that you're walking into a common angle and you guys are just walking casually, not really expecting people to be in certain spots and stuff like that, and then they catch you off guard because they know you're going to be walking around a corner head high, then that gets you killed. So basically what I mean by this is that if you guys know that you guys are walking into a certain angle that most people might be looking at or watching, then you guys might want to check that angle by crouching when moving into that angle and that line of sight, and just basically stuff along the lines of that. Trying to play mind games with your opponents on where you're going to fast peek or slow peek or crouch walk. Basically just that aspect of Rainbow Six Siege is really important in my personal opinion. To give a better example of this, as you guys can see, I am Buck on Cafe. Right now, I am casually peeking the window on the drilling room or the train room, as you guys might want to call it. And as you guys can see, I'm just standing here on the window, hard peeking right now. I could have easily been pre-fired and wallbanged through the player playing inside of train just there, but I didn't because I got really lucky. So the best way to probably take this approach on peeking this window might be crouch peeking it, otherwise rappelling on it upside down and just taking a different approach instead of taking the common angle approach to that angle. This then leads me to my second point about the fundamentals of Rainbow Six Siege is going to be mind games. An example of mind games is going to be when someone knows you're going to pick a right angle of something, so you end up picking that right angle crouch, otherwise you don't pick it at all, otherwise you pick the left side of that angle. Now, this is basically also on the same topic of basically outplaying your opponent and knowing that they're going to be picking a certain thing, otherwise they're going to be playing a specific playstyle with specific operators and stuff like that. So if you know that you can read into your opponents with these mind games and stuff like that and try and think about what they could potentially be doing in that round and how they might pick something and stuff like that, the easiest way of being able to do that is by putting yourself in their shoes in that same situation. So for example, you ask yourself, what would I do in this situation? And then you play by that. And if you're wrong, unfortunately you're wrong. And yeah, that's just the way of the road. This then leads me to my third point in the fundamentals of Siege, and that is going to be predictions. An example of predictions within Rainbow Six Siege is going to be on a map like Clubhouse. As you guys can see, I'm playing downstairs with Cade right now. Most of the time, players will most likely bring a Buck and a Hibana to open up the hatches and to open up angles within sight. So as you guys would most likely see nowadays, you guys will see a Cade on the board of the defense, and not only that, but you guys will also see a Pulse on the defensive side for your team as well, simply because playing mind games and predicting that they will most likely bring a Buck in the round to try and open up angles in Arsenal, and then when you guys play that Pulse, you guys end up counter playing the enemies by thinking 10 steps ahead of them and predicting what they could potentially be doing. The next category I'm going to be talking about is going to be basics. Now in basics, this is basically for players who are looking to improve as a whole. These are most likely players who are in gold or below. I wouldn't really expect players who are in maybe like plat 3 or plat 2, you guys might know this, but this is for really anyone who is looking for basics that they can understand that they don't really understand right now about Siege. So for anyone who's a ranked star and an ESL player, these tips aren't really for you, but you guys can definitely still listen into if you guys wanted to. But yeah, the first tip in this category is going to be headshots. Now this is the most obvious one because as you guys know, a headshot is a one hit one kill. So if you guys even just spray randomly and you guys end up actually hitting a fluky headshot because you guys got lucky, that makes you win the gunfight. I'd say about 80 to 20% of the time, depending on how good your aim is and depending on how good the enemy's aim is and stuff like that. So as you guys know, trying to predict where your opponent's head is really important. Trying to get that headshot at the start of the fight, because if your first shot is the most accurate shot instead of your spray, you'll most likely win that gunfight just because you predicted where their head was going to be. You end up being right because their head is where you thought their head might be, and you end up getting that kill and winning that gunfight. And yeah. The next tip I have for you guys is going to be where your teammates are situated and what angles they're holding. And a good example of this is on a map like Border. If your Thermite and Thatcher is trying to get the normal Thermite wall into Armory, and the Thermite and Thatcher do their job, Thermite's about to Thermite, the Thermite needs to know that he's being covered. So whether you're the Thatcher, you should be holding the run out angle on the, the player trying to run out, which is most likely the mirror, or the bandit trying to bandit trick or hold the mirror. And basically knowing that if you're Thermite, knowing that your teammates actually have your back in that situation, in that scenario, is really important and really key to know this. So this also comes underneath the role of communication as well. So if you can communicate with your team and tell them, yo, I need some backup, please cover my angle while I Thermite, you should be all good and safe to go. The next tip in this category that I have for you guys is going to be basic communication. Now, I know a lot of you guys already know how to call out. A lot of players already know that type of stuff. So if you guys know how to call out, that's completely fine. Calling out to your team where your enemies are and where they're situated, what angles they're holding. But I'm talking about the nitty gritty stuff within the match, such as rotation holes, where the Thermite's about to Thermite, Habana holes, mirrors being opened. Really just like little things such as also ADSs, Ela mines, goo mines, where barbed wire is, and rotation holes. I think I already said that. And so your team can actually get an idea of where the defensive or the attacking operators are playing based off of that, where you hear some gunshots, little things that could definitely impact the round just by some little call out, such as, oh, there's a rotation in the west corner, be careful of it. Your teammates will look in the west corner, see that a guy's rotating through there, kill that guy, when if you didn't give that call out, they would have had no idea, and then that player rotating through the west corner would have killed your teammate. The next category is going to be about operators and things to do with that. So the first tip I have for you guys about operators and stuff like that is being versatile. Being versatile in what operators you can use, such as Box, Sledge, Habana, Thermite, Thatcher, you guys name it, Bandit, Jaeger, etc. If you guys are versatile in using all these different types of operators, you guys won't be able to stick to a specific playstyle, and you also learn other people's playstyles while they play that character. So for example, if you guys have never played Thermite or never played Habana, you guys won't really have an idea on where a Thermite or where a Habana could most likely be situated to look for an angle and to look for, maybe to try and get into sight and stuff like that. But if you guys do play Thermite, you guys will know exactly where those players will most likely want to be playing. If you guys play those types of roles, play the utility, play the support, and then you guys will see that you guys are getting a better understanding of players' playstyles just by the operators that they're playing. The next tip in this category I have for you guys is going to be using utility. So utility comes in a lot of forms, such as flashbangs, smokes, capteos, firebolt and smokes and that, yings, flashbangs and whatnot. And I see a lot of my teammates, and I do see myself doing this sometimes, where I'm not using utility on roamers because I know that my utility is way more important for sight. So I tend to not use my utility, and we usually end up losing a life on the attacking side because of it. The same doesn't really go for defense in my personal opinion, because most of your utility is usually used within the first 30 seconds in preparing for the round. But for the attack anyway, you guys need to start using your flashbangs to clear out roamers instead of using your flashbangs to get rid of ADSs in sight. You guys can work on that when you make it to that point of the match and of the round. And so what I'm trying to say to you guys is to use your yings, use your capteo bolts, use your flashbangs, and just use that utility instead of wasting a life trying to clear out roamers. The final category is going to be about the most important things I think is in Rainbow Six Siege so far. So this is going to basically be the most important things you guys should always be thinking about constantly when you guys are trying to improve. The first tip in this category is going to be always to be open to a playstyle. Now what I mean by that is being open to every different playstyle is going to help you improve, because instead of sitting there and saying to yourself, you know, why is this guy sitting here and complaining about it, you guys need to sit there and be like, yo, okay, that was a really nice spot. I see how these guys are playing. They're trying to play really odd angles and corners, so I need to keep in mind that these guys play that type of playstyle. The final tip that I have for you guys is going to be honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself about, you know, whether you guys potatoed, whether you guys missed the headshot, whether you guys are sitting in a weird corner, putting yourself in a danger zone. You guys need to understand that being honest with yourself about what was wrong and whether you potatoed instead of blaming lag or blaming a mechanic or thinking that you got the headshot when you didn't. If you guys are honest with yourselves about certain things like this that you guys can personally improve on, then you guys will 100% start improving, because if you guys focus on the things that are wrong and that is bad about you, and you start practicing and practicing and practicing, practice makes perfect, and you guys will then end up, you know, improving so much more than you guys believed you ever could. So that is about the video. If you guys did actually enjoy, and if you guys found any tips in this video helpful whatsoever, then leaving a like on the video would be really greatly appreciated. You know, you guys don't need to, it's completely up to you. I don't like asking for likes and stuff like that, but it definitely would help me and let me know that you guys did actually enjoy this video and stuff like that. So yeah, I really hope this video did actually help some of you guys improve in specific categories and whatnot. And with that being said, and with that out of the way, I hope you guys did actually enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.